Management and Education Program. So now, if at the time it was launched by Professor Ivan Satamils sometime in 2012, or before thereabouts,
those times,
in 2011, I should say, if that was done and done well, right? Instead of having less step, we should have had we should have had a plan that will talk about a plan for the next 20 years. What we seek to do, right, is to develop skills, artisan skills, human resources, and it's a public-private relationship, partnership. They are supposed to enhance maybe 2% of government revenue from the sale of this particular thing is going to be used for the next 20 years to make sure that we are using it to build skills, train individuals, get them maybe materials for their thing. And then now we do that, and then we make sure that we are strictly following that particular agenda in that particular line up to the 20th year. Then we assess the ability. If it is not going on well, then we do make some changes to it. That is how we are going to see, because less people come, and then now after some time it will change to jobs for all in 2016. Then after jobs for all, now it's going to change into YEMP, Youth Employment Program. Now it's going to change. Otherwise, we'll be having different flagship programs with everybody coming to talk about what they want to do, and then they get their monies and tax exemptions from it, and then they go. And then development will still be at a standstill. Because people are just using the government flagship programs as a means of getting what they sold into their party when the party was fighting for power. And then after that, it's gone. They're
reaping the fruits of their labor. Well, we have some comments here. So this one says, "Good morning, Koko Digest. Ghana. New government, new policy, LOL. From 1D, 1F to 24-hour economy. Ghana. We hope to see NDC's policy will be implemented on grounds, not organizing press conferences. Thank you." This is Emmanuel Kumsin from Sinyane. Then, so this one, the name here is You Only Live Once, and it says, "Good morning, Yaira. I think discontinuing the 1D, 1F feels entirely... Okay, I think discontinuing the 1D, 1F entirely feels too drastic. Every new government leaves the past one's projects to rot. Why not at least complete the ones that were 80 to 95% done? Ghana needs progress. My regards to the Clock TV team." Thank you so much for your comments. Yes, this is a reminder to send your comments and your suggestions, opinions to our WhatsApp number that is displayed onto your screen, or to our YouTube or Facebook live stream, and I will read them here as well. Now, the last story, then we wrap up this very extensive newspaper. It says, is it ENI or NE? Okay, ENI to increase gas supply by 30 mm SCFD, which is the million standard cubic feet per day, effective July 13, which is from the Energy Ministry. So the Energy Ministry, or the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, has announced that ENI will boost the nation's natural gas supply by 30 million standard cubic feet per day, starting on Sunday, July 13, 2025. That's what we talked about earlier briefly, that people think there will be total blackouts, raising the total supply to 270 million standard cubic feet per day. And the ministry spokesperson, Richmond Roxon, stated on July 9 that this strategic upgrade is a key step in bolstering our energy infrastructure and ensuring reliable energy supply for the nation. The ministry emphasized that this temporary measure is crucial for optimizing the supply chain and supporting the smooth execution of the increased supply. Gentlemen, take us away.
Well, I won't speak much on this because I'll be talking about this on the business update segment this morning, so I will not dive much into it. The only aspect I will talk on is the fact that people were saying there's going to be a nationwide blackout or doom. So
information asymmetry.
And when you listen to the energy minister carefully in the video, he said that as a result of the company who that want to expand its gas supply is supposed to undergo that kind of maintenance or that kind of work on Sunday. So we are going to experience 4 to 6 hours power supply. And
power instability.
Yes, instability within that place. But concern are being raised that would we know the places where this instability would actually be affected, because they said it in general, so we don't know whether it is the entire country or it's just some sub of the country. And another concern was raised that can't we use liquid fuel to power the plant that the gas was powering? And the Minister of Energy said no, they've done a lot of simulation. Engineers have come on board to say that if we use liquid fuel to power those plants, it's going to be damaged, or it's going to just.
It's like putting diesel in a petrol
car. Exactly.
So you can't even ask
exactly.
that
so
question.
They said it's not possible. So the only thing they are supposed to do is to shut those plants on Sunday, so that after the maintenance, the gas supply will just come into
it is a necessary evil. It's sort of just biting the bullet for a day to make sure you have a stable power supply for an extended period of time. Increasing it, they've done an analysis. We were previously on 240 cubic meters feet per day, and that was what we were using. And then we were still seeing some power instability. Now we are increasing it to by 30 to 270 million. So now I think this is something that's good and it's perfect. Not perfect per se, but it's a step in the right direction. But now its economic implications on us. How much are we going to be paying, or what kind of costs are we going to be incurring when it comes to this? And are we going to be able to sustain it? I'm sure we'll be hearing more on the business segment. So I'll choose not to talk very much, too much about this, and then I'll leave it to Clement and his businessmen.
Right, because I think one of the main things too would be the maintenance and you know how they are going to be able to sustain this. That's one thing we should.
Once the supply is increased, except it is done to a certain stage where you enjoy economies of scale, then you realize that your costs, your production inputs, or your costs will be increasing, but at a lower rate compared to that is the outputs that you are given. That is what we are hoping to see. So these kind of analysis are what we want to see, because supply is increasing. Definitely, maintenance costs are going to be on the rise.
And how to pay back the IPPs and things like that.
All these things are going to go on the rise.
So business, you take us through, right?
Yes, okay. But we still want to tell the Ministry of Energy to communicate to us
the specific areas.
Yes, and which you said in the day. You said in the day. Is it in the morning? Is it in the afternoon?
Is it in the evening?
So that if
and I also beg that they
will
start from Oyarifa and Kaswa.
No, please, no. We are covered in the blood.
So that those people can prepare, and churches can equally prepare. If people are to get generator for service, to get plant, exactly, all these things. Ghanaians need to know. They need to know.
It's for a period of 4 to 6 hours a day.
4 to 6 hours.
Let's hope that everything will fall in line.
People are saying it should have happened in the evening.
In the evening. Well, okay, considering the weather is cold, maybe you can sleep.
What is the problem?
Well, definitely, I'll be having a standby generator, so I don't know what you guys are talking about. For 4 to 6 hours, I'll be sorted.
Right. So this brings us to the end of the online and newspaper print review. Okay, we didn't have print today, but digitalized newspaper review with my co-host here. Thank you all so much for sending in your comments. Next will be the business or sports segment. So either Clement or Benedict will be taking us through the news. And then after that, we have the main discussion that's going to be on navigating teenage pregnancy with the lifestyle segment. So do stay tuned and call a friend.
Service proudly presents
to add all those test pots like application to something like this. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's quick. That's crazy. That was quick.
He's going to be able to draw level.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
In a world where neutrality in the civil service is paramount, Ghana finds itself at a crossroad.
Clause says that a certain action should be taken, but government has to act on the basis of law. So we inquired as to what the premise for that demand is.
They say if you wish to broadcast or otherwise manifest your political allegiance or run political office, step away from the services. This is Supreme Court talking. It's not Closak speaking or Isaac Wampado speaking. This is the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court judgment on the landmark case of Clockside versus the Attorney General has set the stage for a profound transformation. Introducing Resetting the Civil Service. Tune in to be part of this change, because a better civil service means a better Ghana.
I find it refreshing always when I remind myself of the profound statement by the eminent civil servant, Lieutenant Anankwa of blessed memory, to the effect that it is the perfection of the civil servant that will move this country forward and not the politician.
Provide a robust platform for in-depth discussions surrounding employment relations, the rights of workers, the quest for industrial harmony, and evolving landscape of work. Bella Walasa seeks to bring to bear the challenges and opportunities facing the labor force today, making a significant contribution to public discourse. My name is Edmond Akwe, your host for Walatu Walasa.
How we do M-I-M-I Diva-less, aka you know the name.
Let's Dot Stop, where we explore the latest trends in the entertainment industry. From viral moments to hottest celebrity stars, we've got you covered. Have questions? We want to hear from you. Your voice matters. Let's vibe together. I got a secret. Do you wanna hear it? You're always on my mind.
Are you a young person with a passion for public speaking? Do you want to make your voice heard and inspire others? Oh, worry no more. Your time is here.
The Ghana Civil Service proudly presents its annual Civil Service Week celebration and awards ceremony from 16th to the 25th of July 2025 under the theme Adapting to Automation, Artificial Intelligence and E-Governance, the Civil Service in Contemporary Ghana. Main venue is the Accra Sports Stadium and grand finale and awards ceremony on the 25th of July at Alisa Hotel. Guest of honor is Honorable Julius Deborah, Chief of Staff.
Neutrality in the civil service is paramount. Ghana finds itself at a crossroad.
CLOSAG says that a certain action should be taken, but government has to act on the basis of law. So we inquired as to what the premise for that demand is.
They say if you wish to broadcast or otherwise manifest your political allegiance or run political office, step away from the services. This is Supreme Court talking. It's not CLOSAG speaking or Isaac Wampado speaking. This is the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court judgment on the landmark case of CLOSAG versus the Attorney General has set the stage for a profound transformation. Introducing Resetting the Civil Service. Tune in to be part of this change, because a better civil service means a better Ghana.
I find it refreshing always when I remind myself of the profound statement by the eminent civil servant, Lieutenant Anankwa of blessed memory, to the effect that it is the perfection of the civil servant that will move this country forward, not the politician.
To add all those test pots to like application to something like this. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's quick. That's crazy. That's quick. He's going to be able to draw a level. Yeah.
Hello, lovely viewers. It's yet another morning. Welcome to the Sports Update segment. Over here, as usual, bring you nothing but the best in the world of sports, and we are covering all the action, both local and international. My name is Benedict Nketia-Kwating, and I'm your host for this morning. Now to the main story. Accra Hearts of Oak has withdrawn from the 2025 Echo International Tournament in Lagos, Nigeria, due to concerns about welfare and a conflict with the pre-season schedule. The team was scheduled to participate from July 6th to 13th, but the event was rescheduled to July 13th to the 20th, which clashes with the club's planned rest and recovery period. Hearts of Oak has apologized to fans and tournament organizers for any disappointment caused by their withdrawal. Karela United has signed winger Abdul Shakun Abubakari to a 2-year contract. The 21-year-old joins from the relegated Accra Lions ahead of the 2025-2026 season. As Karela aims to strengthen their squad after a challenging season, Abubakari, formerly of Steadfast FC, is expected to add versatility and attacking power to the team. Last season, he played in 10 games for Accra Lions, scoring 1. Now to our international sports news. President Donald Trump will attend Sunday's FIFA Club World Cup final in New Jersey. This announcement follows FIFA's opening of an office in New York's Trump Tower. The United States is hosting the inaugural expanded Club World Cup and will co-host the 2026 World Cup with Canada and Mexico. The Club World Cup final at MetLife Stadium will feature Chelsea against Paris Saint-Germain. FIFA's presence in Trump Tower is expected to strengthen its ties with the U.S. administration. Now to the highlights of the FIFA Club World Cup. While Pedro scored 2 stunning goals in his first start for Chelsea as they beat Fluminense 2-0 to reach the Club World Cup final. My name is Benedict Nketia-Kwating. Next is the business segment with Clement Yabankwe.
Good morning, welcome to the Business Update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Now on to today's stories. The head of finance at Meban Capital, Mr. Nessim Kujo, questions the funding allocated for the 24-hour economy initiative, arguing that the proposed $4 billion United States dollars may be insufficient to drive the intended economic transformation. He emphasized the need for strong private sector involvement, the strategic use of pension funds, and the government's commitment to ensure the policy's success.
The whole 24-hour economy program is, will the $4 billion be enough? Because if you read the entire document, it will be as if once this 24-hour economic policy is implemented, Ghana's economy will transform. The question is, will $4 billion be able to transform this economy? That's the first question. And so I made mention of the fact that looking at how ambitious the program is, I don't think $4 billion is adequate. As he said, policy implementation, you have to start. Then along the way, you do adjustments. You assess the impact on the people that you want the policy to affect. And so for the funding, it will be too early to actually tell whether it will be enough or not enough. You cannot actually predict regime. And so it is only prudent that as and when the program is being rolled out, then they try as much as and the program is around 41 billion. Yeah. So which means that at least we can also leverage on some domestic financing models. Yeah. So I think the pension industry is an area that they have to look for in terms of financing. My last comment has to do with the energy that will support the program. We have witnessed doomsday in this country for so long a time. Currently, the energy demands of the country cannot satisfy households and businesses. Yeah. And now that we are adding on a mega project, do we have the energy capacity to speak? Because when we are talking about everything 24 hours, people will be working in the night. They need electricity. The energy sector is saddled with so much debt. Can we have that continuous uninterrupted powers to actually support the 20, because once it's 24 hours, it's 360. People will work throughout the night. They need light. Do we have the capacity? Looking at
now to the energy sector, the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition has announced a strategic enhancement to Ghana's natural gas supply led by ENI, which will result in a temporary suspension of gas export operations to facilitate the upgrade. Effective Sunday, July 13th, 2025, ENI will increase its daily natural gas output by 30 million standard cubic feet, raising Ghana's total supply capacity to 270 million standard cubic feet per day.
According to the ministry, this move is aimed at strengthening the country's energy infrastructure and ensuring long-term supply reliability. To execute the upgrade, ENI will temporarily halt its gas export operations, a measure the ministry says is essential to optimize supply chain performance and ensure the successful implementation of the new capacity levels. However, this will result in a short-term reduction in gas availability for domestic power generation. The ministry emphasized that it has coordinated with key stakeholders in the power sector to mitigate the impact of the temporary disruption. Measures include increased monitoring of power generation systems and the rollout of contingency plans to reduce the risk of widespread outages. Officials have expressed confidence that these proactive interventions will effectively manage the transition while maintaining stable supply electricity to consumers.
Away from that, Ghana is poised to gain significantly from rising global gold prices, which are projected to enhance export revenues, strengthen the country's currency and ease inflation. This is according to the latest forecast by Fitch Solutions, the research division of Fitch Ratings Group.
The report indicates that a combination of high gold prices and reduced energy costs is expected to push Ghana's current account surplus to 6.9% of GDP in 2025, a level not seen in recent history. This improvement in the external balance is anticipated to boost foreign exchange reserves and offer protection against global trade uncertainties. A stronger current account position is also likely to contribute to currency stability and a gradual reduction in inflation, offering relief to both consumers and importers. Despite concerns over new U.S. tariffs, Fitch Solutions remains optimistic about Ghana's economic prospects. The firm has maintained its 2025 growth projection at 4.2%, attributing much of its resilience to increased good-driven exports.
Thank you for staying with us for the business update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Do enjoy the rest of the show.
It is time for us to have a conversation that has to do with our health. Something that is very relatable, I mean, a reality in our country these days, and I'm talking about teenage pregnancy. This is a reality that communities, schools, and even countries still grapple with, and we cannot leave out that conversation here on the lifestyle segment. And so we are here live on TV. You can join the conversation by sending in your comments to our WhatsApp number and also via social media platforms, Facebook and also YouTube. We will be opening up on a real conversation because we have an advocate with us in the studio who happens to, have a personal experience as to what we are coming to talk about. And we also have a midwife who will be taking us through the health implications that are associated to the topic of teenage pregnancy. We are going to be understanding how to navigate this topic. And so just as I said, it promises to be an exciting yet educative session here. And so join the conversation. In the course of the conversation, we'll also open the phone lines where you can call and also share your thoughts or ask any questions you have, because we have a midwife here and also an advocate, and they will respond to that. Now, moving to how prevalent teenage pregnancy is in the country, I'd like to read a few statistics to buttress the need for this conversation. And so teenage pregnancy remains a deeply rooted challenge in Ghana. Data spanning from 1988 to 2019 show a persistent national prevalence of about 15.4%, with rural areas and regions like the Central, Volta, and Savannah recording some of the highest rates. In 2022 alone, over 102,000 teenage pregnancies were reported, contributing to a 5-year total of more than 555,000 cases. This year in the Upper West region, out of the many students that sat for the BEC, we had 24 pregnant girls also, appearing as candidates. Now, against this whole story, President John Dramani Mahama responded to the 2024 B report from the Ghana AIDS Commission, highlighting that the growing concern over teenage pregnancies and their conditions are as a result of, lack of education. And so he emphasized that teenage pregnancy is not just a health issue, but a developmental crisis that must be urgently addressed through comprehensive education, health access, and community support. And that is what we are going to be doing today on the Koko Digest Morning Show. We are also joining in, curbing this menace. And so I have with me two amazing personalities. And the first is Huda Nyameye Hani, who is a teenage pregnancy survivor, a peer mother, and a student. And we also have our midwife in the person of Madam Victoria Jamo. She's a dedicated senior midwifery officer at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, 7 within the gynecology department. With a strong commitment to maternal and newborn health, she plays a pivotal role as a team member of the Kolebu Mothercraft Pregnancy School, where she provides education and support to expectant mothers. Right, so in addition to her clinical duties, Victoria serves as the infection prevention and control coordinator, ensuring the highest standards of safety and hygiene within the department. She also holds a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing, from the University of Cape Coast, and a Master of Science in Clinical Leadership and Management from the University of Ghana. And so, of course, when I was talking about the University of Cape Coast, I had to smile because she is from my school. Now, let's get straight into the conversation. Hello, madams.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome you to the Koko Digest Morning Show.
Thank you.
Let me come to you, Madam Auntie Midwife.
Yes.
I wanted to say doctor. Before we even start with the conversation, you passed the comment when we were behind the scenes about how young we all are working here, and you were so excited about it. I want you to, reiterate that so that we can appreciate the good works that we are also doing here.
Okay, so when I got into the studio, I was shocked to see that all the team members that are here are young.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good thing. If you're a teenager watching us, it would be good to see them and let them be a role model to you, that you can also be like them.
Exactly.
So I think it's something beautiful that I have observed, and I actually passed the comments on that.
Oh, thank you very much. On behalf of my colleagues, we say thank you, thank you. Now, Huda, let me come to you. You have been in this situation before, and so let's start with a story. How was life for you before teenage pregnancy? How was your life like?
So before I became a teenage mother, I was a simple person, living my life happily, no stress. I mean, no responsibilities to take, but being a mother took me to another level.
Another level, yeah. So how was it when you first found out that you were pregnant? How was the feeling like?
I was in shock, and I had to test for like 3 times to be sure that, am I really pregnant? Yeah.
And at what age was this? Like, how old were you?
17.
17?
Yes.
Right. And so who did you talk to the first time, like, you realized you were pregnant?
I spoke to my mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we want to know the reaction.
So when
like
I spoke to her, she was also shocked. I had to sit her down and was like, Mom, I want to tell you something. I said it like 4 times. Mom, I want to tell you something. She was like, tell me. It's like, Mommy, I'm pregnant. But I know the man.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we want to understand something. At age 17, getting pregnant, was it that you were aware of what you were doing, as in, you know, the sexual intercourses you were having and the implications they were going to have on you? Were you aware, or you were just ignorant? We are educating our viewers, so yeah.
I wasn't that much aware that I know you can get pregnant through an intercourse, but I wasn't aware that it was going to come, like it was going to come in there. So it took me by surprise.
It took you by surprise, right? I see. We'll come back to that and also talk about your advocacy and all. But let me come to you, Auntie Midwife. At age 17, getting pregnant, we are told that teenagers, you know, are still developing. They are teens. So their bodies cannot really take, you know, pregnant and babies and other things. But before you answer this question, how big of a problem do you think teenage pregnancy is in Ghana?
It is a big problem. Very, very big. I must say huge. If I must say it's a huge problem, the reason is that there are a lot of health complications that comes with giving birth early or as a teenager. When you're a teenager, there are so many health complications. One of them is having a preterm baby and a low birth baby, a low birth weight baby. So preterm is when you deliver before your due date or your due time. Then because when you deliver before that time, it predisposes the baby equally to low birth weight because the time is not up yet. So if it's like 6 months, 7 months, it means the baby could weigh about 1.5 and it predisposes them to their low weight. Then the low weight also predisposes them to infections. So catching or taking care of such babies is a big problem. And the babies also get other complications because they may not be fully developed when this should also happen. So it is one of the biggest risks. Another thing too is that they lack insufficient care or insufficient prenatal care because of stigma. They tend not to come to the clinic on time. Sometimes they come very late. They hide when coming. Maybe the facility may not be too friendly for them. So when they come, they tend to hide. They put on things so that people don't see that they are pregnant. And because of that, they don't take the prenatal medication. You know, when you don't take it on time, it means you're missing out on the number of nutrients that the child needs to get or the baby needs to get. So the child can get other conditions, genetic conditions, because the child's development may have been altered because he didn't take the right prenatal medications and not even at the right time.
I see. That's you know, evidence to show that this is a big problem. But let me come back to you, Huda. your mom's reaction to you, I mean, was it as a result of the fact that you weren't having conversations with her about, you know, reproductive health and other things, or you used to, but you were a bad girl?
So, well, I wasn't a bad girl
Okay.
because while I was growing up, I was always indoors. Wherever my mom is going, she takes me.
Okay.
And it's like, when you go out there, I mean, friends say stuff. If you don't do this, yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when friends, we have conversations, I learned some things from there. I mean, I could say I was naive.
Okay. So it was out of your naiveness that you ended up in that situation, and your mom took it, like accepted you, regardless of whatever situation you found yourself in.
Why she accepted it was because she didn't want me to end up killing myself or anything, like to be blamed for where was she. So she always tells me that she accepted it because she didn't, it's her responsibility to take care of me. So whatever happens, she has a responsibility to take.
I see. Big ups to your mom. I know she's watching, right?
She's late anyway.
She's late. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Now let's come to your advocacy. I know you have been there before, and that will be one of the reasons why you decided to be an advocate for this.
Yeah.
But are there other reasons why or reasons that inspired you to advocate for teenage pregnancy?
Okay, so my mother wanted to do that, go to schools, talk to young girls about such things. Then, unfortunately, she had to be a victim's mom.
Okay.
So,
your mom was an advocate.
She wanted to,
she
didn't get the chance to.
Okay.
So, when I gave birth, I saw that, okay, this is what they go through. Well, I used to stigmatize them because I felt like you're a bad girl, you're not a girl, you've ended up that way. But when I experienced it, I was like, whoa, this is what they go through.
I see. And you are a student at the University of Cape Coast?
Yes.
You're currently there, right?
Yes.
How common is teenage pregnancy over there in the communities around? As an advocate, you have been roaming. How common would you say teenage pregnancy is?
Common there. At the
I know there are
university communities, and the students impregnate some of the girls and go away. It's because they are giving them money or food.
Yeah.
They take advantage of them. Yeah.
That will even lead me to the causes, because before having this conversation, I went on social media and then I was searching causes of teenage pregnancy, and somewhere of the view that, iPhone 16, iPhone 10,
Exactly.
Indomie.
Yes.
I've
heard someone failed. When I go on failed, people are like, give me Indomie. He bought me food. There is no food at home. My mom had to sack me to go and find food. And I ended up this way. Some were raped.
Wow.
Some are being raped and they can't come out to say it. They keep it to themselves. And they realize that, okay, I'm pregnant. And people still judge them.
Yeah. Auntie Midwife, let me come to you. From your outfit, what are some of the causes you have also identified, as a result of teenage pregnancy?
The first cause is a lack of education.
Lack of education.
Yes. From her narrative, you could tell that she said she didn't know it was her friends. You heard them from your friends.
Yeah.
So when we leave the education and they tend to rely on their colleagues or friends for some of these information, sex education, they'll be misinformed, and they will try to know how it feels like, what to do and not to do. So it is best if people are taught sex education in schools. So from the primaries, it should be part of their curriculum.
Okay.
Yes, so the first thing is lack of education. People tend to do that. Then the next one is financial constraints. As she said, because you don't have money, or you think you are poor, or you are poverty stricken, you would want to take money. If somebody's giving you 10 cedi, you think it's enough. Somebody's giving you 50 cedi, then you are so happy. You want an iPhone, you want a tablet, you want, sometimes they even want to just compete in clothes. Which is something that can just fade off. But lack of education equally leads them into that. Because if you are, even if you are poor and you lack the education, you would go and do that. So in the long run, they tend to be a burden again, because when they get pregnant, who takes care of them? The men will leave them. And they'll have to be a burden. Another thing too is that abuse. Some also do get raped. And
just as you said.
Yes, some also do get raped. So you may think that, okay, the person is a bad girl, but no. Some is through an abuse. It could be a relative. It could be somebody very close. The truth is that rape doesn't even come from mostly outsiders or strangers. It's people that are well known, close to them, that causes that. And another thing too is the society. Sometimes people live in communities that if you don't get pregnant early, they stigmatize you. We know some communities, when you don't get pregnant, you know, they hail people who rather give birth so that they do the naming ceremony in the grand style. Then they'll know that, yes, me too, I have a grandchild. So the parents can even force them to do that. Yes, they can push them. Indirectly, no, they may not tell you, but they'll be pushing you, like as in, they are having kids. What are you doing? So I also need a grandchild. And sometimes the teenagers are forced to indulge in that. Yes. Then another thing too is pressure.
Pressure, right?
Yes.
Peer
so
pressure.
the peer pressure. Yeah. That should have even been the first or second. So the peer pressure itself, still, you know, everything still boils back to education. So peer pressure, you know, their friends are doing it, and they also feel like trying it. Sometimes people are so quiet. She said she was always indoor. People are quiet, they don't even go out. But once they get to school and somebody tells them, this time, you don't have a boyfriend, me, I have a boyfriend, this is what we've been doing. That peer pressure, they also want to experience it. They also want to know how it feels like and enjoy it. Then they end up also in that same condition.
And so in this situation, is it good to have friends? Is it bad not to have friends? Because she was indoors and then she went out, she heard from friends. Some also say if you're exposed, you kind of, you know, will be able to navigate these things.
It is good to have friends, but don't forget that social media is also another platform for people to also get pregnant. Because sometimes people also meet people online. You may think, oh, my daughter is indoor, but she may be engaging in conversations with an adult or even somebody of her age. Then they'll meet up one day, then that's it. And surprisingly, those who get pregnant as teenagers are people who are inexperienced.
I know, right?
They're bad girls. They know how to protect themselves because they are already maybe using contraceptives or other things. But somebody who is so quiet or naive, they don't know anything. So the moment they do it just once, then they get pregnant. They wouldn't know even how to even go about it. So sometimes they'll hide it to a point that before they even realize or they even come out to say they're pregnant, it's gone past 6 months.
Speaking about bad girls, someone would say that then we would be advocating for more abortions because they know how to get rid of, you know, pregnancies if they are not wanted. We'll come back to that, but let me come to you, Huda. We are still talking about teenage pregnancy, and I just want to find out from you, who did you talk to aside your mother? Who did you talk to? Like, I mean, this is something that you cannot take alone, you cannot handle at age 17.
So from the beginning, I told the man. I told my mom first.
Your mom
first. I told my mom first, then the man. than a friend. But my friend, his girlfriend was a midwife, so he was saying that the way I'm nice and all that, I can't give birth at this age. It's going to spoil my reputation. So it's better I abort the pregnancy. So my mother had to keep me away from every friend.
Oh, okay.
She took my phone actually.
Okay.
That even I'm going for antenatal, she's going to take me.
Okay.
So like,
she was always there for you.
Yes.
But before that, would you say you come from, or you came from a comfortable family in terms of finances? Were you comfortable, or you know, you were struggling?
I came from a comfortable family.
A comfortable family.
Yes.
And so that goes against our cause, saying that financial constraints also leads to teenage pregnancy. And so even the comfortable ones are also falling victim.
But she liked education.
She liked
sexual education.
Sexual education.
Yes.
So how important would you say sex education is when it comes to families and other things? Because most of our parents shy away from talking to us about sex. Yet we see them always conceiving, but they don't talk to us about it. We don't even know what happens behind the scenes. We don't know what happens between mom and dad. Yet we keep having siblings. So how important is sex education?
It is very important, because if she had known, or she had been spoken to about sex, she would have known that there should be limitations to some of the things that she needs to do. So you may know something, you know, even the Bible says that lack of knowledge makes my people perish. Yes. And ignorance, even in the court of law, is no excuse.
Okay.
Yes. So when you don't know something, you tend to do the ordinary. You tend to do the opposite of that. If she had known, she would have taken proper precaution. So she would have known that, okay, maybe I have a boyfriend, but this is a limit to what or how far I should go. If I have a boyfriend, okay, I'm trying to know you. I'm studying you. Maybe let's wait. We can't touch each other. We can't do this and that. Let's wait and develop ourselves. We are still growing up. Our bodies are still in the biological state, still functioning and trying to develop. So let's wait for some time. When we get to our adulthood, we can talk about marriage. How early we even want to get married. It should be fine. Should be cool. Then you properly get married or properly agree and get pregnant. So that way, means psychologically you are prepared, mentally you are prepared, financially, because you should be working at that time when you're an adult. Then emotionally, everything, you're fine, you're good to go. But if you don't know that, if you don't know anything about sex education and you get them from friends or somebody just speaks to you about it, you end up being a victim to that.
Okay.
Yes.
So my personal question, this question is from me, not from AI, it's from me.
Right.
At what age should we start talking to our kids, you know, about sexual reproduction, those kind of things? At what age? Assuming I have a little girl, she's 6. At what age should I start talking to her? You want to come in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to come in because we have, I think, when they start menstruating. Because why I'm saying when they start menstruating, some start menstruating at 9, some 8. So if they know that right now you're menstruating, so the moment you have sex, unprotected sex, you're going to get pregnant. You call a spade a spade.
Okay.
You don't need to sugarcoat it or something. You have to call a spade a spade.
But you know, there are different types of kids. Some people receive information, strict informations in good faith. Others to be like, what is there that mommy is saying that, no, let me go and try it. Don't you think it should be in a mixed way of saying it?
As a mother or as a parent, I believe that you should be close to your child.
Okay.
You shouldn't be someone your child is scared to talk to you. Because my mom was always, I talk to her. When I'm talking to her, I'm comfortable.
Okay.
And she was my best friend. I prefer to talk to my mom because she won't even go and tell anybody about it. But some mothers, they'll go out there. And my daughter said this. And the moment they hear it, there's no confidence in you that my mom can keep my secret.
it's true. You have a point. Auntie Midwife, at what age should we start talking to our kids?
If you ask me, I'll say as early as possible. Personally, with my kids, even the little one, 3 years, I talk to them about sex.
Yeah.
The reason is that even boys can become victims.
Okay.
So as early as possible, I realize that I don't have any time to wait. So I have to talk to them about sex, and I have started that.
Okay.
I speak to them about sex. I call penis, vagina, vagina. I don't want to use other words. You know, sometimes they want to give different descriptions.
Yeah.
No. When you let them know the right words for each body part, that helps them, it gives them a well-informed idea about it. Then it helps them to also know that I can talk to my mother. So I have developed this mother or parent to child friendship where once a while I call them to my room and I ask them, how are you? How is everything? Do you have anything you want to discuss with me? Okay, don't let anybody touch your breast.
Yeah.
Don't allow anybody to touch your buttocks, your vagina. If somebody tries to touch you inappropriately, when you are there, somebody tries to be touching you, let me know. You can tell your teacher. If it's your teacher, come home, come and tell me. You can tell another teacher.
Okay.
I try to do that so that they'll easily know that they can trust me.
Okay.
They can confide in me. You know, most of the time, kids who have very strict parents tend to hide certain information from them.
Yeah.
So even if they are menstruating, there are kids who can even hide it for a very long time before their parents even get to know that they are menstruating.
Yeah.
They may not be using sanitary pad, tissue, or anything that they get in the washroom. They'll just use and and try to hide it from their parents. But when you have this mother-to-child relationship or parent-to-child relationship with your kids, it helps them to open up to you. Let them know that they can trust you. Then also listen to them, give them the opportunity to ask questions. In that way, they can.
Yeah. So you know, most of us always want to understand things practically.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned that you say penis. You don't mince words and other things. But aside that, is there a unique way you find out from your child if they've done something sexually, like from school? Or because I have this 6-year-old cousin who came home the last time, and she was telling me about a boy in her class that she likes at the age of 6. So anytime I keep asking, like, how can I get more information from this girl? Because that's it. She didn't tell me anything again. And then I'm always curious. I want to know, because if you like him, then it should be something you'll be talking about. And so what exactly do you tell your kids, or how do you find out from them that they are involved in sexual activities?
So I do that by always engaging them. So I don't wait till like as in a month or 2 or 3. Randomly, I'll ask you, how was school? What happened in school? How does auntie treat you? How does your friends treat you? Do you have friends in school?
Yeah.
The other time, you mentioned the racy. How is the racy? Is she fine? Is she taking time with you? I ask them so that they'll be able to open up to me.
Yeah.
And when you keep doing that, if they fight with somebody in school, if they have a problem or a quarrel with somebody, they'll come and tell you.
Right.
Before they get to the entrance, whilst they're opening the door, they'll start saying, yes, mommy, today this person did this. It's because you have already engaged them in that. And it becomes very easy for them to open up and share their problems with you.
Hulda, you also are a mother, right? So how do you also practically get information from your kids?
Well, we have, I'm always with them. So probably when we went to school, my son is a bit reserved.
Okay.
He wouldn't like to say it. He would like to enjoy things on his own. This is what I've realized about him. So I have to just, if you don't say it, we are not going out. I'm not doing this for you. I'm not doing that for you. And you start saying it. This person did this to me.
Okay.
He's a bit reserved. That's one thing I've seen about him.
Okay, that's very good. Now, let's come back to your advocacy. As an advocate, what are some of the stigmas, that you have identified when these teens get pregnant on your field work?
remember one time I was walking on the roadside and a pregnant girl, I think she's like 14, if I should say.
Yeah.
She was walking by, she was selling. Then she was passing in front of a shop. Then the owner of the shop was like, stay away, like she was spitting. Pregnancy comes with a whole lot of stuff. Then I felt bad, totally bad. And I called her, I was like, I'm proud of you. If nobody says it, it's not that I'm encouraging teenage pregnancy, but as far as you didn't abort the pregnancy and you are facing what is coming, I'm proud of you. Because most of the time, people shy away.
Yeah.
They can't come out. So one thing, when I go on field also, they share with me, oh, this is what we are going to, the society in the house. Whatever you do, you are being insulted.
Yeah.
Like, you're not part of the society in churches, in school. And the girl who is, you identify the girl who is pregnant. No one wants to come near you. And I also experienced some, after giving birth, and when I went back to school.
You experienced that, right?
Yes, my mate. Well, I'll tell you I've given birth. I don't hide it from them. And I'll advise them that this is what I've faced, so make sure you don't enter into it.
What were some of the advice you gave to them?
No, I told them
to protect themselves.
To protect themselves.
Not to abstain.
Well, you can't force everyone to abstain. That one is that person's.
Well, for me, I stand from a very strong point of view that abstinence is the best.
If you tell them to abstain and she's going, you can't. When she's going, she's not going to tell you. But I told them it's good to abstain. But when you're going to do that, you should protect yourself.
Right.
I'm very peculiar about that.
The protection.
Yes.
We'll come to the protection. It's a very, very key, subtopic for our conversation. But let me come back to you. Talking about health implications, the trauma these girls go through, from where you sit as a midwife, have you encountered some? How do you think these girls are traumatized when they are stigmatized?
Okay, so, pregnancy in itself needs a lot of preparation.
Yeah.
So, emotionally, they are traumatized before coming. And as I said, when they're coming, they come very late. Most of the time, they don't start the clinic very early. So they start from 6 months, 7 months.
Yeah.
Which is, by then they are almost due. And because they didn't take their prenatal medications, they tend to be anemic.
Yeah.
So when they come, because they are always hiding, we tend to, personally, in my facility, we tend to see them very early. So when they come, we give them the priority. Sometimes we even book them very early. So the moment you come and at the booking clinic, we get to know that you are pregnant, you are a teenager. We give you that preference, just to see you through very early for you to go home. Then we also, from time to time, I call them. There are a lot of them I call any day, anytime. When they have issues, they call me. So the midwife has to be very supportive, create that rapport. When a teenager comes, sometimes when they come, they'll try and sit in the corner.
Okay.
They'll wait till almost when everybody is leaving. But as a midwife, you should be able to search through, find out who a teenager is. When you see them, you can tell. Even if they're in scarf, sometimes they put on scarf and things to hide that. But even if they're in scarf, you can tell if they're pregnant.
Some are also of the view that the stigmatization comes from the health practitioners. When they come to the hospital, that kind of thing. They shout at them, they don't treat them. And there is this kind of special treatments given to husbands and wives when they come for antenatal and other things. And so these are all, minor stigma that they encounter.
Yes, for that, we call it partner support. We encourage it because we want people to come with their partners. But even if you're a teenager and you come with your partner, it's also support.
Yeah.
When you come with your mother, it's a support. We need that support system.
Okay.
We call it the labor care guide. We need a support person behind you. Not so that you don't come alone and feel intimidated or feel stigmatized. When you come with somebody, it means there's somebody, a strong bone behind you. When our sister was talking, she kept saying that her mother, is because she had that support from her mother. For the mother to even draw a line or limitations to friends who could tell her that go and abort the pregnancy or do this and that. It means that she had that strong support.
Yeah.
And that is the kind of support we want people to also have. I have equally heard of people trying to make them feel bad, but in my facility we don't do that. I can boldly tell you confidently that we don't do that. It's a friendly institution for adults, for teenagers, for adolescents, and everybody.
Okay, then we'll be coming there. But talking about support, we have a comment here, a question actually. Good morning, Mimi. Can you please ask your guests to touch on the pedophiles hiding in plain sight in our communities, molesting and coercing young girls into sexual activities with them? And lastly, how the families make them into family matter instead of getting the needed punishment. And so you were talking about support. We have instances where family members, you even mentioned that people close to us end up, having their ways with, nephews and other things. Now she's talking about the fact that families tend to turn this issue as a family matter. What do you have to say about that?
An abuse is an abuse. If it's rape, it has to be reported.
Okay.
It doesn't matter who the person is. Even if it's a father, it has to be reported. If it's a mother, it has to be reported. Whoever causes that has to be punished. It's a legal thing. Once rape comes in, it becomes a criminal case. So the police will have to be involved in that.
Okay.
So that is why we still have to educate them on sex. If there's sexual education, when they get to know their bodies, during sexual educations, we go to the schools, as midwives, we go to the schools, we have a diagram, we teach them about the body, the biology, the anatomy, their physiques and everything, the reproductive system. So if they know all these things, and we also tell them about the consequences of some of their actions, when somebody comes around them, even if it's a family member or a relative, whoever it is, and they try to see some of these signs, they will know whom to report the person to, so that it doesn't get to the point that they will have to be pregnant.
Okay, we have another question directed to you. So, good morning, Mimi. Good morning to your guest. Great discussion. My question goes to our midwife. As a senior midwife, how would you approach a 15-year-old girl who comes to your clinic pregnant and scared, unsure of what to do next? Please, I really need an answer because teenage pregnancy is very common in my area. Teshi, to be precise. Madam Clary answer in Chado. It's getting personal.
So, as I said, the first thing is to create the rapport.
Okay.
When they come, it's the midwife's responsibility to approach them. Even when you are an adult, you realize that when you go somewhere and somebody says, "Hi, how are you?" Instantly, you feel welcomed and you feel okay. So when I see you, I should be able to even walk to you. "Hi, how are you?" "Oh, welcome. Congratulations on your pregnancy." It doesn't matter what it is. We congratulate them.
Okay.
As long as you're pregnant, we do have to congratulate you. When we say those things, you feel relaxed. You feel welcome. You feel that, at least there's somebody that listens to me. There's somebody that cares for me. So it helps them to feel loved, because it is that insecurity and anxiety and that emotional lack of love that causes them to even be depressed after giving birth. And that is also another issue on its own.
I know, right?
Yes.
We'll take Huda's take on that, but we have to go for a very short commercial break, and then we come back. I have an important question that has to do with, should we have sex or not? We'll answer that right after this. So stay with us. It is still the lifestyle conversation here, and we are talking about navigating teenage pregnancy. And keep your comments coming in. We'll answer all your questions right after this break. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Civil Service proudly presents its annual Civil Service Week celebration and award ceremony from 16th to the 25th of July 2025 under the theme Adapting to Automation, Artificial Intelligence and E-Governance, the Civil Service in Contemporary Ghana. Main venue is the Accra Sports Stadium and grand finale and award ceremony on the 25th of July at Alisa Hotel. Guest of honor is Honorable Julius Deborah, Chief of Staff to the President of the Republic of Ghana. Event highlights include float procession, policy fair and public lectures, on the spot public services, press launch, cooking and quiz competitions, sanitation campaign and sports tournaments. Partners include GNPC, Promasidor, ECG, Goyle, Verna Water, Bost and VRA. Media partners are GTV, Joy News, Metro TV, Clock TV, Peace FM and the Angel Broadcasting Network. The Ghana Civil Service, celebrating our achievements for improved service delivery.
You're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. It is an extensive conversation here on the lifestyle segment as we are navigating teenage pregnancy. It is a very prevalent situation in Ghana, and we cannot sit and watch our teenagers get pregnant, and that is why we are bringing the education to you right here on Clock TV's finest #1 Koko Digest Morning Show. We are still in our 1-year anniversary, and so yes, we are reminding you that we are streaming live on Facebook and also YouTube, and so get interactive with us. Send in your comments via our social media platforms, and of course our WhatsApp number, which is displayed on your screen right now. So let's get straight into the questions we have here. We tackled one. Let me take this. Hi, this is Tina, a UCC old student from the Theatre and Film Studies Department. Miriam, my question is to Doc. Okay, she's a midwife, please. Is it advisable to engage or introduce a family planning method to teenagers? Because most teenage girls hide their sexual life from parents, especially guardians. This is to hold up. My question is, how is she handling motherhood after her mother being late? Okay, we'll come to that. But let's talk about the family planning methods.
Yes.
I was actually going to ask that. So okay. You just answer the person and then we'll go back to that.
So we keep saying that the best thing is abstinence. That
they said they will not abstain.
People cannot abstain, yes. So contraception. It is good if they get access to contraception. Contraception shouldn't be too difficult for them to get. And we shouldn't think that when they're coming to get it, we shouldn't brand them as bad girls. So when they come, it's better we tell them the effect or the risk of having an unprotected sex. Yes, we'll tell them that. But if they need to prevent pregnancy, that is the reason why we give them contraception.
Okay.
So we'll tell you the methods, and any of them that you want, we give to you. Obviously, there are ones we can't recommend for them.
Okay.
But there are some we can, which is short term, to prevent the pregnancy, and we can give that to them.
We'll come to that. Huda, how are you handling motherhood after your mom, passed on, since she used to be your best friend?
Wow. So, when I'm going to school, I take my kids to school.
Okay.
And I don't close early. So I have to go and pick them and take them to class. Sometimes I'm late for class because I have responsibilities. Sometimes my lecturers fight with me and all that. I mean, but we are still moving.
I see. Okay, let me come back to you, Auntie Midwife. Now, I'm taking you back to the early stages of our conversation as to a girl is pregnant. In your own view as a mother, how do you think is the best way that a teenager can break the news to her parents that she's pregnant? How should they go about it?
They should feel free and speak to their parents. That is why you have to develop this parent-to-child relationship with your child. And we encourage the kids or the children to also speak up.
Okay.
To be very confident. So through school educations, when we go, we tell them that they need to be confident. They should be able to speak up, have boundaries. Then anytime they have any issue, they don't have to restrict themselves from saying what they have to say. Yes.
Okay. Now they are pregnant. What are some of the health complications they are likely to face during pregnancy as a teenager?
So the first one, I think I mentioned it earlier, preterm labor.
Okay.
Because the body is not well formed and is still developing, they tend to give birth earlier than the due date or the due time. Yes. And also when they deliver early, it means their baby's weight will also be poor or be so low. Then because of the low birth weight, the babies also get complications. Some will even pass on or die. Yes, because low birth weight babies and preterm babies need special care.
Okay.
Yes, and they are also not mentally ready to take care of the babies, and they end up going into depression. So sometimes I know you've heard stories where some mothers drop their babies in bins, refuse dumps. Yes, mentally they are not stable. Because they are facing stigmatization, emotional needs, the same way financial constraints. They are thinking about all these things. So when they give birth, they don't want to touch the babies. most of them, they before you realize, when they go through the postpartum depression, they would have just thrown the baby somewhere. Yes.
That's so sad.
Some also get, we call it preeclampsia. Their BPs tend to be very high. Preeclampsia is when the BPs go so high, there are proteins in the urine, they end up getting headaches, and sometimes they even get eclampsia, which is the worst part of it, because that is more or less like seizures where the body goes into fits, or they get the seizures. So this is also one thing that can also take away their lives. So we advise that they don't get pregnant early. It's best if they can't abstain, they should take contraception. Then at least.
It's good you brought back the issue of contraceptives. Now the question will be, should we have sex or not? I've asked this several times, and I'm still asking because I know people are watching.
You can have sex at the age appropriate level. Age appropriate.
Okay.
As a teenager, you're schooling. What are you using sex for? Yes, you may have feelings, but you need to be able to control your feelings. So we tell them that, and as I keep saying, everything is education. If you know, you abstain. If you know, at least when somebody touches you, you know that, oh, my feelings are there. But okay, I can get pregnant, which it may delay my going to school if I don't have a good support system, where maybe your mom will be like, okay, let me take your baby and just go to school. Some do not get the opportunity. The moment they get pregnant, it means they are dropping out of school. Maybe they have to come home, take care of the babies for some years before they can also go back. And that may also cause a delay. Yes, so it's best you can have sex, but at the right time.
At the right time. Huda, let me take your view on this. As a young mother, what would you also say about this question? I don't want to emphasize much on it.
I tell the girls that at this age you don't need sex because you have to empower yourself. And when you empower yourself, whatever you want, you get. This is what I know. Because when you're gonna have sex and you get pregnant, and there's no one to take care of you, you lose everything. You can go insane. Anything can happen to you. So I will say they shouldn't have sex. But if you are having sex too, well, which I can't stop you, you have to protect yourself. You have to use contraceptives. Yes.
Okay. So we'll talk about the contraceptives, the various types we have, and also antenatal, how early should a pregnant mother start, a teenage pregnant mother start her antenatal. But we have a question here. Hello, Mimi. Good morning. I'm enjoying the conversation. Okay, thank you very much. When I found out my daughter was pregnant at 16, my world shattered. I felt like my dreams for my daughter were slipping away, and I was consumed by fear and shame. Please help me. How do I cope with the emotional trauma, and what advice would you give to me facing this struggle? Madam Erica Okwe in Tamale. So I think she's currently in that situation.
Yes. She needs a psychologist.
A psychologist, okay.
Yes, because my mother was going through similar, because she was that prayerful type, and she was always in church, and your child has gone to do this. So imagine what she'll go through. But she wouldn't come out to tell you what she's facing. But she'll behave as if she's strong, but she was inside. She was bleeding. So what I would say is she needs a psychologist to talk to her. She needs counseling.
Okay. Auntie midwife.
Yes, she needs counseling, as my sister said. That one is very important because you need to be talked to know that it has already happened. But you need to embrace it, then know how to deal with it. Obviously, you can't harm your child. So this is the time that she shouldn't forget that her daughter also needs her most. Because you, the mother, you need to be stable for your daughter to also be stable. When your daughter sees you going through this, it shatters them too. Yeah. That is when they become even more depressed because they know they have disappointed you. Because already you are disappointed and you are having all these feelings.
Okay.
How much more your daughter? And aside that too, she needs to join mother support groups. So she can go online, search in Ghana, other teenage mothers or parents with victims of teenage pregnancy support groups that is available in her community. She can find out, she can go online and search, and she will know that within the Tamale vicinity there is a support group like that. Most of the NGOs, they support mothers who are going through this because maybe their kids or their children are teenage pregnant.
And I won't be surprised that you know, that some of the motivational quotes they will be getting or messages will be, oh, if we'll spiritualize it, But I mean, well, we are still here in the studios of Clock TV talking about navigating teenage pregnancy on the lifestyle segment. Here on the Koko Digest morning show, and so I have realized that a lot of you are calling our WhatsApp number. Please, this number is just for WhatsApp. The phone lines, okay, my producer just said the phone lines are open, and so that is what you are seeing on your screen right now. So please call this number and then share your thoughts with us. Our phone lines are open right now, and so you can call and then ask all your questions regarding to teenage pregnancy. Now, Auntie Midwife, how early should a teenage mother start antenatal, like a pregnant mother start antenatal?
As soon as you realize you're pregnant.
Okay.
You don't stay home because you need to start taking medications, the prenatal drugs or medications to help in the development of the baby. So as soon as possible. It goes not just for even a teenage mother, for every pregnant woman. The moment you realize you're pregnant, you have to come to the hospital to be seen.
How early did you start your antenatal?
So I started when I saw I was pregnant, it was early. So I had to wait for like 1.5 months, then I had to start going.
Before going, did you psych your mind that this is what has happened, and so I don't care about whatever anyone is going to say, I'm just going? Or you were, you know, a bit apprehensive about the whole thing?
Well, so by then I was living in Accra. So my mother took me.
Okay.
So she was my confidence. Like, even though I knew the mothers were, I think that day I was very late. I didn't know they go early in the morning, go early as 6.
Yeah.
So when we went, we were late, so they said they can't book us the next visit.
Okay.
That's when we can come. So the next one, my mom took me, and we're there. I mean, they were looking at me, but I didn't care. I didn't want to. It's not I didn't care.
So
but
you see,
I sagged myself.
You see, I had a point when I said some of the stigmatization comes from the health practitioners. They were looking at her.
Oh, for you know, it could be other pregnant women also looking at
other
you.
pregnant women. And
I don't want to accept that fully.
Maybe, but antenatal that they were making a young girl feel bad.
Okay.
She came very late and she was just hiding. Instead of her sitting in the queue, she wanted to sit outside. And all the mothers, Afaka Kraba.
So you see, it wasn't from
everybody was looking at her. And so one midwife had to go out there to call her to come. So we are going to take care of her so she can leave.
You see, we are well trained for that. So we are equally psychologically prepared for them when they come.
Okay.
If you don't come, we will call you. When we see you, we'll call you. We'll make sure we draw you closer to us so that you feel welcome and loved.
So aside coming to the health facility, if any, you know, teenage pregnant mother is, you know, walking around, do you have that special eyes to see?
Yes.
That? Oh,
yes.
You can.
Yes. And I approach them.
Okay.
Ask them if they've started antenatal, if they have any support system, somebody supporting them. Yes, and they open up.
Okay. So now let's look at their feeding. now they are pregnant. Let's look at their feeding. What foods should they eat? I mean, which kinds of foods should they eat to stay healthy and also protect their unborn babies?
We always encourage good nutrition, which is a well-balanced diet.
Okay.
So whatever you eat, make sure that you have bits and pieces of everything in it.
Okay.
Make sure you take the greens, that's the green leafies, the contumelies and all that. But you know, when you want to take the contumely or the vegetables and you don't take vitamin C or you don't take fruits, it's like you have done nothing.
Okay.
You need the vitamin C to absorb the nutrients.
Okay.
So some of them can say that, oh, my blood level is so low. It's so low because you may be taking the contumely, the abedru, they may be blending them for you to drink to increase it.
Yeah.
But if you still don't take the vitamin C's in the fruits, you end up still getting a very low blood level.
Okay. So, okay, sorry for cutting you, but looking at one of the courses which says that lack of financial, support or constraints is the reason why they are getting pregnant. How are they going to afford, a balanced meal? Are they not going to be prone to anemia, malnutrition, those kind of effects? Yeah.
They're always prone to anemia.
Okay.
That is the number one of the ranking cause of that. Risk or complication of teenage pregnancy. All the time they are anemic.
Okay.
Almost all the time, either moderate anemia or severe anemia. At least you will see a level of anemia.
Okay.
And it's because they don't eat well. Yes. But when you have the support system, when there's somebody supporting you, they encourage you to eat and they'll help you. Once the support system is there, they'll make sure that if you're supposed to eat, at least you get the food that you need to eat. Then you take your prenatal medications as well. Because if you don't take the prenatal medications, you lose the iron.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like our conversation has been just tailored to the women, the ladies. We need to talk about the men. Fubuda, let me come to you on that. Because you mentioned that when you realized you were pregnant and you were breaking the news to your mom, you told your mom that there's a man, a responsible man, on the side. So what role do you think men also play in, this whole teenage pregnancy situation?
So, the men are supposed to support the woman. So, you don't like the woman. I don't expect you to go in there to even sleep with her. So, when the pregnancy comes, it shouldn't be all on the women.
Yeah.
The men needs to do something about it, because once I've realized that when you go out there, the ladies are always going for child support and they are being single mothers.
Yeah.
And the men are breathing whilst the women are suffering.
Yeah.
So they have to help. They have to help because it shouldn't be one-sided.
Yeah.
Sometimes, most of the times, the young ladies are not working. And probably the man wouldn't be working, but the man can go and do something.
Yeah.
Because the woman has stopped schooling or has stopped doing whatever she is doing.
Yeah.
Just to take care of the child. So it's your own responsibility to go and bring money.
So in your situation, did you get a supportive man to stand by you? I like the way you smiled. You didn't, right? Or you did? Or you don't want to talk about it?
Yeah.
You don't want to talk
I
about
just don't want to go there.
So, Auntie Midwife,
Hi.
we've had situations where teenagers, after they are being, they get pregnant, they are being sacked from school or they become school dropouts whilst the men, continue with their education. What do you think about this, bias kind of thing? We should all be suffering. Why should you be going to school?
Yes, but I think now this thing is a thing of old.
Okay.
Because when you were reading, you're giving a preamble of this, when we're given the statistics, yes.
Yeah.
Even this year, BEC students were allowed to.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So initially it used to be like that in most schools, that when you are pregnant, you would have to go home and go and give birth before you come back. But now people are allowed to school, even with the pregnancy. So I don't think it's really a challenge now. The only thing we advise on them is to abstain. And you think you cannot abstain, use a contraceptive.
Okay, so let's talk about the support we can get from the men involved in this act. What kind of support can the men give to the teenagers when they impregnate them?
So the spousal support, I wouldn't say only spousal support, but when somebody is pregnant or you impregnate somebody, you need to take responsibility. Even if you're not going to marry the person, it is your responsibility to take care of the person. We encourage that because when they support them, they support them financially, which is very important. Then emotionally, once they have the support of the man, it looks like
they're halfway through.
They're halfway through, yes. Because when the man is there, they know the man will definitely take care of them, will provide for them and provide for the baby. Then they know that they don't have much, they don't have to lack, or they wouldn't lack anything. So that takes them away from the overthinking and troubling themselves with financial issues. So that is a very good thing for spousal support or partner support. We encourage it all the time. So we say that partner support. But if it's a married person, we'll say spousal support. But partner support is very important.
Okay. So Hilda, when you were talking about your experience, you mentioned that there is a man. I'm not really going back to that, but I just want to understand. Did you tell your mother that there is a man because you didn't want her to feel it was, you know, a rape or something? You didn't really identify the man, or you were saying that because you thought you were going to get the support you needed from the man?
So my mom had seen that I'm working.
You were going out with a man? Yes. Oh, okay, okay.
So I had to be point blank with her that
it's this person.
The person who impregnated me.
Oh, okay, okay. So what did your mom do to the man? Like, what conversation did she have with the man?
My mom was, she's that godly type. Kind of thing.
So like, no police case, nothing?
No.
Wow. Auntie Midwife, if someone, God forbid, but if someone should impregnate your child at a very teen, you know, a very young age, what are you going to do to the man, practically?
Indeed, I'm happy you said God forbid. Yes, God forbid.
Yes. Because it's not going to happen.
Yes, definitely not. But even if it should, you first have to ask your daughter, have a conversation. Was it rape? If it's rape, then you know where to channel it to.
Okay.
The appropriate, because it becomes a criminal case, and appropriate court is. But if it is out of a mutual consent.
So at that age, Doc, I'm sorry, Auntie Midwife, is your child, I don't want to be using your child, so is the teenager of the right sense to have a mutual, you know, understanding with the partner so that they indulge in that? Don't you think sometimes they are being coerced, they are being manipulated?
That is why you have a conversation with your daughter.
Okay.
Yes.
Because some of the teenagers tend to protect the guys and say that, oh, he's my boyfriend, and so that's why we did it. But maybe the guy manipulated the girl, you know, he bought Indomie, he bought something, iPhone, something.
What if the girl also was the one that went to the guy to to make the way out?
Yeah.
Anything is possible. So just have a conversation with the person, okay? Then know the details of it. When you know the detail of it, that is where you'll be able to make an informed decision. Whether to report it to the police. And don't forget, if the person wants to be part of the pregnancy and take full responsibility, if they are arrested too, how would they be part?
Right.
But if it's out, that's why I said, if it is rape, it is a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
But if they tell that, okay, this one was full consent, boyfriend, girlfriend thing that we did. But, and you know, most of the time, both of them may even be teenagers.
I know, right?
The same age. If not, it could even be possible that it's even a person who is even younger than her.
Yes.
So if it happens, what do you do? If the family wants to be part and the man, everything, if the partner wants to be part, you need to allow them to be part.
Right. Hold on. We'll be wrapping up shortly, but let me take your support system. What kind of support do you think we can give to our teenagers when they find themselves in situations like this?
So, as family, as society, as co-students, as teachers, as doctors, nurses, what we can provide to them is, this is the time they need counseling most. This is the time they need people most. Because what they've done, they feel, it's like killing someone in that society. That's how it feels. So, you have to embrace them, make them feel at home, so they'll get peace of mind whilst in their pregnancy stage. Because they mostly go through postpartum depression.
Yeah.
And it's so rampant in teenage pregnancy mothers. So what I can say is they need support. They need support.
Right.
I mean, psychologically, they need support. Because that's when they tend to fight with their kids. They tend to hate their kids because of what they've been through.
I see. Auntie Midwife, support. How do you think we can support our teenage girls, who find themselves in this situation?
Is that when they are pregnant, after they are pregnant, or before, or just
during and then maybe after?
So during if you find out you are pregnant, we will give you the best care that we can give to you. We will try to be close to you as much as possible and give you the necessary attention or the necessary care. Whatever your problems are, we will listen to you and solve it.
Okay.
Then also, before or when they are in their teens, we partner with schools or communities and we go and give health education. Yes, because we need to give it early for them to know so that they can protect themselves. Yeah.
I'll be taking your last words shortly, but let's take this comment from John Boateng. And he's saying, in my opinion, as scary as the situation can be, it is important to remember that you have options. So you can choose you can choose among adoption, parenthood, and also termination. Termination, we didn't even talk about it. The issue of abortion, briefly, did it come in mind when you realized you found yourself in that situation?
I told myself I'm not going to touch that baby.
Thank God. So, Auntie Midwife, what do you have to say about abortion in this situation? Briefly, in a minute.
Okay, so we have safe abortion. We have that, but if the child wants to keep it, why do you want to abort it? You can still go to school. So it's not like when you're pregnant, you are going to stay home. No. As I said, things have changed. So if you can go to school, why don't you go to school and have it? So abortion shouldn't come in.
It shouldn't come in.
But even if it should come in, there is a safe abortion, yes.
There is a safe abortion. Now, he also goes ahead to say, this decision is yours and yours alone to make. No one should pressure you or guilt you into anything with which you are not fully comfortable. However, it is important to talk to your doctor. Okay, we also have this, to learn how to stay healthy during pregnancy and beyond. Hey, John, it looks like you have a lot of experience with regards to this topic. Now,
that is how you have contraception. So why don't you prevent it than to be pregnant?
So prevention is the best, right?
Yeah.
So you need to get access to contraception. So when they go to the clinics, we don't stop them.
Okay.
And these clinics should be all around them. So in the CHIPS compound, like in the communities, everywhere you go, there should be a CHIPS compound, a health center that you can go and get a contraception.
But there's another stigma in the pharmacies. A young person is going to buy a condom. The person will be questioning, like, what are you going to use it for? You'll be looked in a way, that kind of thing. And so to avoid that kind of that kind of stigma, then let me just go and do it like that.
So that is not the only method.
We are far behind time.
We have a lot of methods that you can use. So that is a barrier method. Okay, so if that is when you want to prevent both, as in both the pregnancy and the STI, sexually transmitted infections.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I had this conversation, navigating teenage pregnancy, with Huda Nyame Honey, who is a teenage pregnancy survivor and also an advocate of teenage pregnancy, and also Victoria Jamo, a midwifery officer at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. They were my guests for this very realistic and also important topic, navigating teenage pregnancy. I hope you have been informed and also educated as well. This is still the Koko Digest Morning Show. Let's do a few birthdays and then we'll be out.
I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday.
Right, so let's get straight into our first birthday celebrant. A happy birthday, Loretta. Wishing you a day filled with joy, laughter, and all the things that make you shine. You are an incredible friend, and I'm so grateful for you. Here's to celebrating you today and always. This is from Kali. Happy birthday to you, Loretta. We also have this to Mickey B. A happy birthday, Mastro. Here is to crushing it in your next trip around the sun. May it be packed with epic moments, good brews, and all the wings. This is also from Kali. Sorry. A happy birthday to the one who makes my heart skip a beat and brings sunshine into my world. You are not just my fiancé, but my best friend and the love of my life. I want you to know how much you mean to me. I love you more than words can express. Happy birthday from your sweetheart, Nathaniel Babington. Aww. And this is also a happy belated birthday to my one and only best friend, Yofi Esifie Hagan of Beautiful Gateway Ministry, Asalam Down. I wish and pray for God's protection over your life and more wisdom to put smiles on your face when we are sad. My body, okay, dear, once again, happy birthday. And this is from your sweet sis, Patricia Odum Awuleti. A happy birthday to my very own Achampoma Portia Nelson. You are such an amazing person. May the good Lord continue to guide you and keep you in all that you do. All right. Thank you so much for bringing in your birthday messages. A last comment here and then we wrap up. This is from Joseph Heneku, and he says there was an incident of a teenage pregnant girl who was being stopped from writing BEC. The stigmatization is so deep. Thank you, Clock TV, for this insightful conversation. Thank you too for bringing in your comments. This has been me, Miriam Abna Adide. I had this discussion once again with Huda Nyame Honey and also Victoria Jamo, a midwife at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Many thanks to our crew, the Koko Digest Morning Show crew, for the good works you've been doing for the show, and also to all of you who tuned in and also sent in your comments. We richly appreciate every single thing. Catch you same time on Tuesday at 6 a.m.
Quad TV, beyond the policy.